Thank you for inviting me to join you today, and I so much regret not to be with you in person. Singapore has registered an impressive recovery from the pandemic thanks to its strong fundamentals, a very effective vaccination rollout, and decisive policy response. And yet, just with all other countries, Singapore has been hit by other shocks, those triggered by climate change. For Singapore, projections show significant temperature rises, more intense and frequent storms, and a sea level rise of up to 1 meter by the end of the century. We are seeing similar climate threats everywhere. Pakistan has been devastated by floods. Africa has been hit by extreme droughts. China has seen its rivers running dry. Europe and North America has suffered tremendous heat waves. Climate change has become a growing threat to our lives, to our livelihoods, and to the stability of our economic and financial systems. So we have no choice but to urgently step up investment in green energy and boost resilience. As the recent surge in fuel and food prices and in some regions insecurity is another dramatic reminder of the urgency of climate action, it forces us to take it to heart. But as we know, this action doesn't come cheap. It requires large amounts of capital, with estimates ranging between 3 to 6 trillion US dollars annually until 2050. And yet, we see only around 630 billion a year, 5 to 10 times less that is necessary, with very little going to developing countries. Well, the good news is we can unlock climate financing. And let me outline 3 immediate priorities to do so. First, we must set a comprehensive climate policy to reallocate resources towards green and resilient investments. Among those policies, one stands tall: carbon pricing. It is a key tool to make polluters pay for the climate costs they cause and insensitize investments into low carbon and energy efficient projects to accelerate the transition to the new climate economy. Carbon pricing may seem difficult, especially today when households and businesses are suffering from high energy prices. But as energy prices go down, it would be the right time to put in place predictable and steadily rising carbon price, so the incentive to shift away from fossil fuels is in place. And it will generate revenues to compensate adversely affected households and businesses and provide certainty to investors. This brings me to the second priority. To boost climate financing, we need innovation and we need a broader investor base. Again, incentives are key. In emerging and developing economies, investments often come with high upfront costs. They face multiple technical challenges and an unproven business model. And as a result, many climate opportunities are lost because they cannot attract the financing they need. Those that do are most likely to draw on capital from a small pool of specialized investors demanding high returns. Addressing these challenges and scaling up private climate finance requires new thinking. Green bonds. They can attract private investors at scale. So too could outcome-based debt instruments such as sustainability-linked bonds. Blended finance, we talk a lot about it. We have to do more than just talk. It combines capital from public and private institutions, and it can play a role in enhanced risk sharing. For example, the public sector could offer first loss guarantee to investors, could participate with equity capital or credit enhancements to lower investment costs by reducing risks to the private sector. And while the public sector would bear more risk, it would also benefit when investments succeed, and it would generate a global public good that benefits all of us. Multilateral development banks, already major providers of climate finance, have an essential role to play. By dialing up equity investments, these institutions would make scarce public resources work harder by mobilizing multiples in private capital. Achieving this, however, requires better data, so investors can make informed decisions. And that brings me to the third priority, a strong climate information architecture consisting of reliable and high-quality data, harmonized and consistent disclosure standards, and also sound and widely acceptable principles. Without this data to track, assess, and compare green projects, investors will, quite rightly, pursue opportunities in other sectors. Fortunately, we recognize all how important it is. Work is underway to bridge data gaps. It is part of the network for greening the financial system, co-chaired by the IMF, and it has identified climate data needs and also data availability across various financial sector stakeholders. Most recently, this work stream took an important step, building a directory that identifies climate data gaps and offers practical solutions to close them. We at the IMF are collaborating with the World Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, and the OECD to develop operational guidance on the G20 high-level principles for sustainable finance alignment approaches. And this is not the only way the IMF is contributing to the climate agenda. I'm proud to say that today the IMF is a systemically significant institution in the fight against climate change. Why? Because climate change is macro-critical for our members. Climate risks undermine macroeconomic and financial stability, and on the flip side, opportunities in the climate transition can boost growth and employment. Therefore, we have put climate at the heart of our work in surveillance, capacity development, lending, and the climate information architecture, as I stated before. Of particular importance is our work to promote accountability, transparency, more effective spending, and climate-friendly public financial management. These measures also help mobilize domestic revenues and to attract external financing. And we are stepping up on financing long-term structural challenges. Our new Resilience and Sustainability Trust will provide longer-term, affordable financing for our vulnerable low and middle-income members. And we hope to mobilize additional financing as well. Let me end by thanking the Monetary Authority of Singapore for hosting this timely event just ahead of COP27. It is important to step up international efforts to build a greener and more resilient global economy. I have highlighted 3 priorities: policy frameworks, financial innovation, better climate information. None of them can be achieved unless we all work together. And so we must. Thank you.